Prohibition. That's what you foreigners over in America called it. One day you woke up, I think it was sometime in the early 20th century, and you decided, this frigging alcohol, it's either going to kill us or we'll have to kill it. And frankly, I'd rather it didn't kill us, so we're going to kill it. So you wrote up below. You basically... all your constitutional experts got together and you drafted the law, and it said, the law said something like, Section 1, subsection A, hello, Section 1, subsection 2, the selling of alcohol is now illegal. Section 1, subsection 3, this will be known as prohibition. We're going to call it. This may cause confusion if we ever try to prohibit anything else, but for now, the banning of alcohol is going to be called prohibition. So if anyone comes up to you and says, prohibition, you'll know instantly what they're talking about. They're talking about the banning of alcohol. So if we have to ban anything else ever, we'll have to come up with another word for that. But that's okay. We're Americans. We're good at that sort of thing. We'll worry about that. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. There's no point crossing bridges when you can just see them there on the horizon. Because that's what happened with the Wright brothers. They panicked. They got their little first ever flying helicopter thing. They flew it up into the air, and then they saw a bridge on the horizon, and they saw the sun shining down on it, and then they remembered the story of Icarus and the sun who flew too close to the sun, and they said, look, we're flying far too, I can see the sun right there in front of us, we're practically at it, we'd better crash. So they crashed. That's what the Wright brothers did. They crashed. And then they said, we probably shouldn't be calling ourselves the Wright brothers at all. That's going to make us a laughing stock. It'll be like that thing. Oh, what's his name? What's your man, the Elephant Man? I used to go around in the early days before he got some self-respect. He'd go around to these travelling circuses, and he'd sit in the cage, and people would look at him, and he'd be the laughing stock. They'd say, "Ha ha! Look at you! You're ridiculous! Your head looks like an elephant. Not an entire elephant. It looks like an elephant's head. The rest of your body we can't really tell because, admittedly, you're quite well dressed. But no, your head looks like an elephant's head. Your body, I'm going to assume that you have 4 legs and not 2 legs and 2 arms, even though I can't quite make it out from this distance. So that'll fit with my already prejudiced view that you're an elephant. So hello, you're an elephant. Haha, sit in your cage there. I paid $6 old to see you. And quite frankly, you're a waste of money, but I'm enjoying it anyway. Now, wave at my child, but don't give her nightmares, because if you do that, I'll have to kill you. Then I'll go down in history as the man who killed the Elephant Man. That was the Pope's name before he became Pope. It's a bit like the whole Batman thing. You have your man whose name I can never remember. He went on to become Batman, but then a couple of years ago they killed him off in the comics. So you have someone else being Batman for the last couple of years. But I believe they're bringing back the other person who used to be Batman. Although while he's being Batman, he's not the other fella. But fans of the comic will know what I mean. They're doing that. I believe there's something. They did something similar with Superman, except it was a different thing. Your man who played him in the movies died. Christopher Reeve died, but they decided Superman wasn't going to die just because Christopher Reeve died, because that would imply that Superman was Christopher Reeve, which wasn't the case. What's his name? The fellow who worked in the newspaper office was Superman, although you wouldn't think it to look at him. You wouldn't. Well, maybe you would if you knew. He looked a bit like him now that you mention it. He had the eyebrows, and he had I remember, I went up to Niagara Falls once, and I stood beside Niagara Falls, and I said, that's the place where Superman saved the boy who was falling into Niagara Falls. He did that up here at Niagara Falls, where I am now. I thought, isn't that amazing? They came up here, they filmed Niagara Falls on location. They didn't build an artificial Niagara Falls like they usually did. Just they'd get a blue screen, and he'd stand in front of the blue screen, and they'd say, we'll put in a picture of Niagara Falls here afterwards. Well, it's very hard to film a child falling into a blue screen, and then Superman has to jump into the screen without breaking a hole in it, which is rather difficult and unbelievable if you're as strong as Superman. So no, they didn't do that. They went to the real Niagara Falls. They went up. Now I was on the Canadian side of it. I think Superman was on the American side of it, which would explain why I didn't see him. Or I didn't. I presume they have a statue on the American side showing, indicating where he saved the imaginary boy, and saying, if the imaginary boy had died, this would be his resting place. Maybe they erected a little cross. Although that would be inaccurate, seeing as how he didn't die. But they might say, in the alternative ending, the little boy dies because Superman doesn't turn up, the cunt. So we don't really like Superman around here in the alternative ending. So it's just as well they decided to use the original ending rather than the alternative one, because that wouldn't have got very good reviews around here. I can tell you, Christopher Reeve would have died a bit sooner than he did. Because we can easily arrange a faulty horse. How do you know we didn't? We could. I'm sure they have faulty horses available in Niagara Falls, Niagara Falls, Canada. I was in the town of Niagara Falls, Canada. It's full of fake plastic trees. They have all sorts of plasticky shops selling dodgy souvenirs. They have an expensive restaurant up on top of a tower. What else do they have? They have buses. They have a bridge that you cross into the United States when you get sick of it. It's a fantastic place, though, Canada. I spent a while in Toronto. They have a space age thing that looks like a giant tower with a big viewing balcony on it, and you go up and you can look down on the world from 85,000 stories up, and there's a glass floor, and you stand on it, and it says, this thing could hold the weight of an elephant. That's what it says on the sign, and you'll say, I don't care if it can hold the weight of an elephant. I'm not walking on the frigging thing. I can see the outside world 85 million feet below. If I fall through this, telling me it can hold an elephant isn't going to be much compensation. Although it may well be, because I could use that, my relatives could use that in court as you know what I mean. But no, Toronto's all right. They've got a tall yoke, and they've got a dome stadium beside it, so it looks like something on the moon, except it's not. If there were cities on the moon occupied by Martians, although I suppose it would have to be one of the moons of revolving Mars, one of the moons orbiting Mars rather than our own moon, if it had Martians on it. Although who's to say Martians couldn't turn up at the moon? Although why would they? If they got that far, surely they'd come to Earth. But no, I suppose it's like a space-age city on the moon of Mars if there were Martians there. I'm assuming that Martians are more advanced than us. Who's to say whether Martians are more advanced than us when they don't even exist? It's the Superman thing all over again. Oh no, I mean Superman. You go and look at the new Supermans now. I've got the new Superman movie. It's called Superman Returns. It's about when he comes back. Superman comes back, and suddenly he doesn't look like Christopher Reeve anymore, and he falls from something, if I remember rightly, and he falls, and he falls, and he falls, and he was supposed to look like someone falling off the World Trade Center, and then you see Superman. You think he's dead, but by the end of the movie, he's alive again. That's I suppose that's quite exciting if you're into Superman. Seeing Superman die, or apparently die, and then being brought back to life. I think he comes back to life anyway. I can't remember. I hope this isn't a spoiler. Besides, I've only got what turned out to be a pirated copy. I thought it was a cheap second-hand copy when I bought it. But no, it turns out it's a pirate. It's a pirate copy. Ironically, I've got a genuine copy of Pirates of the Caribbean, which which I don't even like. It's a thing where your man Charlie in the Chocolate Factory gets on a ship and he goes, look at me, I'm a pirate now for the next 6 months, and then after that I'm going to be a rabbit in a Lewis Carroll fiction thing, and then I'm going to be a squirrel in a little known Roald Dahl book, but I'm going to have a funny voice like I always do, and I'll wear a hat. That's what your man Pirates of the Caribbean does. He either wears a hat and funny ears and has a stupid voice, or he's a pirate. Sometimes there was one. I remember the time when he used to act with his hands as well. He had scissor hands in one film, but no, he doesn't bother with his hands anymore. He just has the same hands every time now. Although admittedly, sometimes I think he wears gloves. That's the ice cream van, by the way, in the background. I don't know if you can hear, but I fucking can, and it's driving me mental. Fuck off, ice cream van. There's a good ice cream van. I'd rather have a cat meowing. I wonder, do cats meow with ice cream vans? I can't tell. I've got 5 cats, but I can't tell whether they meow with ice cream vans because I can't hear them above the frigging sound of the ice cream van. I'm going to stop now. Hello, I'm back. I've returned. Like Superman. Superman returns. I've returned to the ice cream van is either gone or he's turned off his thing so he can give ice cream to whoever stops him. I'd like to thank whoever stopped him because they've stopped the frigging Blue Peter music. That's all I hear all day from. He only has one tune. It's the theme tune to the BBC children's television programme Blue Peter, and it goes well, always stops suddenly, or else it fades out. It never does that in the original version. It doesn't stop suddenly or fade out. It does. It just comes to a natural end. But no, ice cream people think, oh, I've got enough customers now. I'll just stop the music, and anyone who's waiting to see how the music pans out because they've never heard it before is going to be sadly disappointed. I've had a lot of coffee. Now, what else was I going to say to you? This is probably difficult to listen to. But this is what they do to test microphones. They go up to them like this after several strong coffees, and they go, and then they go, or they go the other way around sometimes. First they'll go, and then they'll go. The only problem with that is it's never exactly the same every time unless you've got someone who's really good at it. And if you had someone who's really good at it, it wouldn't be in that job. They'd be a circus freak because there's more money in that. So they get a machine to do. They make a machine who can do the same sounds exactly over and over and over again. That's automated production for you. It says McDonald's started it. They decided, hamburgers have to be exactly the same every time, and we have to be able to employ a 12-year-old who's never even scratched his face before and be able to train him how to make the perfect Big Mac in 2 minutes. So they automated everything. They made everything automated. They even automated the process of automating things. So they have factories now where they automatically make automation machines, and they automatically serve them. At least someone drives the vans. I think they this automate that much. But no, apart from that, everything's... Anyway, good morning.
Sit, Kofi, sit. Good cat.
IntoYourHead.com